It's been quite the wild ride when it comes to all things Chrono Trigger. It all began with the celebration of its 30th anniversary, and we were told we can expect related projects to Chrono Trigger, and I made a video that maybe we could be getting a new game, if not a remake. And then, not so long ago, there was a bit of a kerfuffle when it came to Yuji Horii and his translator. Did he accidentally let slip there was a remake, or was it just down to the translator having a bit of fun? Well, it seems to have been the latter, but nonetheless, in today's video, I am asking the question: do we really need a Chrono Trigger remake? So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy the content you are seeing, please consider hitting that like button. And if you want to stick around for some more Chrono Trigger content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. So what avenue do I want to go down in today's video? Well, I think there's three options. We could answer the question outright, and mine would be personally, yes, it does. But there's three avenues I think we can go down. And I'm going to go through the simplest one first, and that would to be just re-release Chrono Trigger, because currently it's available on Steam when it comes to a modern platform. You can play it on the 3DS, and you can also, of course, play it on the Super Nintendo. But for accessibility, Steam's the go-to, so it seems quite natural for the easiest way to go about things to just port it onto PlayStation, port it onto Switch, and port it over to Xbox with little to no effort included, or maybe sharpen it up a little bit like a pixel remaster like we got with the Final Fantasies 1 through to 6. But it's the easy option. I don't know if people would like that. I think people would, to the point where, yes, I can play it on my most modern device with maybe some achievements and trophies and a couple of bells and whistles as well to suit more modern gaming like speed ups and save states, etc. But I just want that a little bit more. So we now go to the two avenues of what I would like. There's one more than the other, so I'll leave the one I really want till last, and if you've seen the thumbnail and everything else, you probably know what I'm going to be going with that one. But we're going to go for the other one that I've seen in various comments of some of my videos when talking about Chrono Trigger, and just the conversation overall, and that is to have a 3D remake of Chrono Trigger. We've had teasers of this through fan projects that have been shut down, but I see a lot of people compare games like Dragon Quest 11 and the Trials of Mana games for the kind of style they want. I guess even maybe what we got from Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven, but a 3D remake with voice acting, telling the Chrono Trigger story, looking at it a new light, maybe revamping the gameplay styles. We've seen games come from Square Enix like I Am Setsuna that was inspired by Chrono Trigger, so we can kind of get a rough gauge of what maybe this remake could look like if they went down this route. But I think people would want the more graphical style of a Dragon Quest 11, maybe go one step further and take from Dragon Quest 11 and have the opportunity to switch to 2D and 3D on the fly. I think you satisfy two audiences right there. They can add various new mechanics, they can have an orchestrated soundtrack. Of course, we want the option to have the original as well. Redo the animated cutscenes, maybe reimagine them with in-engine cutscenes. There's a lot you can do to make Chrono Trigger work as a 3D remake, but I just can't shift myself from a 2D style, much like games like Final Fantasy 5 and 6. I could never imagine them as a 3D remake. I know that we got Final Fantasy 4 and 3 in 3D, but that was a very chibi style, true to form when it comes to Final Fantasy, so maybe that's another route we could go down when it comes to a 3D remake for Chrono Trigger. But there are many things we can do. Have skill trees, traversing the world map could be working a little bit different. Imagine just scaling the world of Chrono Trigger through all the time periods in a 3D space. I think it could be quite the spectacle, and we could be full of nostalgia and just impressiveness of what it would look like. But I want to move on to I would like that the Chrono Trigger remake will be, and that is the HD 2D style. I love this style of game. I was so invested when Octopath Traveler came around, and then we got got Live Alive, a game that never came out in the West, was never localized. We got it being a HD 2D game, and that is one of my favorite games of all time. It's such an awesome game to play, and if you haven't played Live Alive, you should really give it a go. But now as time has moved on, we've got more games in that engine. We had Triangle Strategy, which was a more tactics-based game. We got Octopath Traveler 2, building upon everything that Octopath Traveler 1 brought to the table. And then, as of right now, we had Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake, which looked absolutely glorious, using a very different color palette to what we've gotten before from the engine, proving that a vibrant game like Chrono Trigger could look amazing. And then coming very soon, we have the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake. So there has got to be something in the pipeline for the engine. What could be next? Could it be an original game, or could it be, well and truly, Chrono Trigger? I think it would suit the style so well. It would be easy to do, pump out onto all of the systems for everyone to enjoy. You can add quality of life updates, you can add new music, you can add additional scenes if you really wanted to, but I think all of us would want it to be true to form and as much as the original as we remember. But I think just having Chrono Trigger in a HD 2D style with voice acting, maybe do something like Dragon Quest 3 and really open up that world map. I know the world map works very different in Chrono Trigger because there's no random encounters. Maybe that's something you could mix in. And I know I just said random encounters. You're probably going to say, there's no random encounters in Chrono Trigger. Well, have monsters out on the field as well. Imagine traversing from A to B in Chrono Trigger and, you know, having a bit of a different experience and extending that time on that world map. And then, of course, when you get to fly around on the world map, it could really open up some things and look pretty damn glorious. But that's the style that I would really like for a Chrono Trigger remake. You can see it right now, Chrono Trigger HD 2D remake. I think that's what might be next. If we don't get an original game in the HD 2D engine after Dragon Quest 1 and 2, I think Chrono Trigger is definitely first in line. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this situation. Of course, it got blown out of proportion when we thought it had been accidentally confirmed, but it definitely gets the discussion going. I think it's something we're going to see sooner or later. What would you like from a Chrono Trigger remake? Would you like just a straight up port with the 3DS content? Would you like a 3D remake, much akin to Dragon Quest XI or Trials of Mana? Or would you like Square to go with the HD 2D approach, giving that familiarity, making it feel like it's what we remember, but more glorious, more big in scope, and just a treat to revisit when it comes to the world of Chrono Trigger? I'm sure there's many things we're going to hear about to come when it's celebrating its 30th anniversary, and it could cap off with a game announcement, but who knows? It could just be another Chrono Cross. Wouldn't that be lovely? But I appreciate your time. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.